Jungkook, where were you, Vine? You were never absent when I returned. Vine, her gaze fixed on the city lights, hesitates before turning to face him. I I wanted to talk to you. Jungkook, what is it? Why are you hesitating so much? Vine, I don't know if I should say this or not. I mean, I should, but I don't know how to say it to you. You understand, no, right? Jungkook, holding her shoulders to make her stop and look in his eyes. They had a sudden pause, filled with intense emotions for a few seconds. Then he made her sit on the bed while sitting alongside her. He covered her hand with his as he spoke. You can tell me anything. You can start with anything. I won't react until I hear the whole story of it. Okay? Jungkook's grand mansion reflects the formidable presence of the feared mafia leader. His every step echoes through the imposing corridors, the aura of power surrounding him. As he pushes open the heavy door to their opulent living room, the air thickens with an unspoken tension. Wine, the beacon of light in Jungkook's shadowed world, is definitely absent from her usual spot. Jungkook, habitual of loneliness, proceeds to eat dinner alone. The clink of cutlery against fine wine resonates in the silent room, increasing the void left by wine's absence. His mind, usually occupied with ruthless matters, wanders to the matter that is his wife. Later, as he enters their shared bedroom, the atmosphere undergoes a subtle shift. Vine stands by the window, adoring the moonlight. Her eyes, usually filled with warmth, now betray a sense of uncertainty. Jungkook, after entering the room, sees her lost in her own thoughts, which is rare for her. She is always cheering, talking, and happy, basically anything but lost. Jungkook, ever observant, senses something amiss. Jungkook, where were you, Vine? You are never absent when I return. He covered her hand with his as he spoke. You can tell me anything. You can start with anything. I won't react until I hear the whole of it. Okay? The gravity in her voice prompts Jungkook to sit patiently, his piercing gaze never leaving her face. Vine takes a deep breath, hesitating with the weight of her revelation. Vine, your mother, she wants a grandchild from us. Jungkook, usually composed, expresses a flicker of surprise. He demands an explanation, and Vine, choosing her words carefully, begins to unravel the seriousness of his mother's request. Jungkook, a grandchild? Why would she involve herself in our lives like this? Vine, she sees it as a way to secure the family legacy, a continuation of your name and influence. A charged silence lingers between them. Jungkook, a man of few words, contemplates the unexpected turn of events. Vine, sensing his internal struggle, takes a step closer. Fine, Jungkook. This decision should be ours. Your mother might have her reasons, but we are the ones who will live this reality, right? Don't overthink it. I will respect your decision. Jungkook. I know. It's just that I heard it so suddenly, and I never considered fatherhood. I don't know if I'm ready for it, he says, his voice filled with hesitation. Fine. The embodiment of compassion reaches out, her touch a gentle reassurance. Fine. We can face this together, Jungkook. You're more than what the world sees. I believe in you, Jungkook. Right. I don't have to think too much. But what do we do? Forget me. What do you think about it? Jungkook, unaware of what to do next, asks her. Wine. Well, I think it's not a bad idea. She noticed him looking at her with a piercing gaze, that he could dig a hole in her. She charged up instantly as she says, why are you looking at me like that? It was already hard to say it, although I don't understand why it is hard. What's wrong with a couple having kids? I just suggested it. The decision will be mutual, obviously. Jungkook. Okay, okay. Don't stress it out. I'm not judging you for what you said. You're right, but fine. But what? She asks, which was followed by a long time of silence, not knowing how to sort it out. It's not that Jungkook doesn't want a child. It's just that he knows exactly how dangerous of a life he leads. He doesn't want to have a child while not being ready to be able to protect him. Having a child means a new set of responsibility, for he was questioning himself. The night stretches on, their dialogues making a pastry of emotions, fears, and dreams. Jungkook, accustomed to a life of calculated risks, finds himself talking unplanned things with the woman who brings warmth to his hardened heart. Jungkook, I never imagined having conversations like this with you. Fine. Life is unpredictable, Jungkook, but we can shape our own destiny. He takes a sigh again, not knowing he did that too many times to be ignored now. Vine holds his hand, which made him look at her. I know what you're thinking. Our child will be our responsibility, not only yours. You are thinking about their safety, right? I can do that too. You might not know, but I can protect very well, she says to him in a mocking tone as she proceeds to show off her thin biceps. Even if for a moment, at least he laughed, or it should be stated as she made him laugh, which was a relief for Vine. That's how their relationship is. They don't know if they love each other or not, but they somehow always seem to understand what the other person is feeling and try their best to soothe them in any way possible. As the dawn approaches, Jungkook, for the first time, opens up about his complex relationship with his mother. Jungkook, I respect my mother, Vine. I want to make her proud. But I also want us to be happy. I will do as you say. Once again, Vine returning to her usual self, cheering and happy because of his decision. She gets a way too happy that she hugged him tightly without knowing it. This is rare for them, but he, without thinking, hugged her back too. All the confusion that he had about the child faded away when he saw her happy. It was at this moment he knew he made the right decision, and he doesn't have to think the other way now. Fine. When realized that she was hugging him, widened her eyes and tried to break the hug, but he tightened his grip on her as his voice gained sparkle and calmness. Stay like this for a minute. It feels so good. Vine, blinking her eyes too fast, and cheeks being red from the blushness. The butterfly effect took over her, and she decided to go with the flow. So she closed her eyes, smiled, and rested her head on his shoulder. They both looked so happy like that. They wanted to be like that for a long time. That's why, when Jungkook broke the hug, he looked at her with seriousness to ask her, "Do you want to sleep with me?" He asked. "Fine. What do you mean? We always sleep together, don't we?" Jungkook. "No, not like that. Sleep with me while hugging me, if that's comfortable for you." Fine. Understanding the depth of his conflicts, smiles with a softness that pierces through the shadows of their past. Looking at her smile, he understood her. They laid down on the bed together while facing each other. She bit her lips from the shyness that took over her, but he casually switched off the lights and his eyes after hugging her. He knew what she must be feeling, so he kept his eyes closed and took her hand in his embrace. He laid a lingering kiss on her hand as he said, "I will protect both of you, always," he said, and hugged her hand, for he slept like that, leaving Vine's little heart to flutter all night just because of a little action. She was happy she talked to him, as she always needed someone to understand her. Now she knows she can trust him and tell him anything that happens in the future. Knowing that, she closed her eyes and slept peacefully, without any worries, as her hand in his embrace, the safest place for her.